Writing skills, one of the very, very important areas in English. You may read well, you may understand well, you may express well. But if you want to document it, you have to write well. Appropriate language, you should use it. See, today there are various writing items here. We have letter writing, we have notice writing, we have report writing, advertisement, classifieds, and so on. Today we will see only two items: notice writing and letter writing. See, just let us have some idea of writing, because you're all young students. You may need to write so many things. See, I'll give you a small, a formula like thing. CODER, coder. It is advisable for all the students or anybody who wants to write a correct thing. If you follow this coder, you will be able to do well, maybe in your writing field, or maybe it is even the examination. What is this coder? This C stands for collect information. Collect information, okay? Or collect even ideas. Collect ideas. As many ideas or as much information as you want, you collect it. Then O. O stands for organize your ideas, or whatever the information that you have collected, you organize properly. Then D. You have to design your draft, or you can make a draft copy of it. A rough copy of it, you can make it. Then here comes your writing skill, your knowledge of grammar, your understanding of the content, and how logically you would develop it. E, that is, edit your writing, or edit your draft, or edit your work. Then this is the last stage. Revise your work. Revise your work. See, this coder is applicable to all sorts of writing, whatever the writing area that you take up. It need not necessarily be confined to letters as well as notices only. C, collect information. O, organize your information in a logical and systematic way. D, design or develop your draft. Then you edit the draft or your write-up. Then you revise your work. Children, I think you understand this well. Coder, you remember. This will be the most important area for your work. Then, now we'll go our major work of the day, notice writing. You all might have seen notices, isn't it? Notices might have been displayed in your school notice board. Sometimes you may see these notices in railway stations, bus stands, even in cinema theaters also you may come across. What is this notice? Notice is a written or printed announcement. It is written in order to form or in order to inform large number of people at a time about something that has happened or is about to happen. It could be an upcoming event also. It could be about a competition that you are going to conduct, or it may be simple thing. In schools it happens, lost and found column would be there, that. So it is generally written in a formal tone. See, what is notice is? Notice a piece of written or printed document or announcement meant for large number of people, normally displayed on display boards. Specifically, we call it as notice boards. It can be found anywhere, either in schools or colleges, cinema theaters, public places, bus stands and railway stations and all. Okay, now we'll see characteristics of a notice. How? What are the important characteristics of a notice? See, first of all, it must be factual. Okay. Uh, it is not fictitious. You can't imagine the things and write. What you have planned, what is there in the document, what has been accepted and approved, only that. And it is to the point. It is to the point. See, notice cannot run into pages. Notice cannot run into pages. Of course, in the examination, it is 50 words. This 50 words is only for the content, or what we call it as a body of the notice, not for other things. So it must be to the point, and as far as the language is concerned, it must be simple, and you should use a formal tone. It should be simple and formal. You should not use very flamboyant and flowery language in notice, because every sort of person comes and reads there. That's one. So normally it must be very clear in conveying the message. So there should not be any ambiguity. Okay. See, these are the major characteristics. It must be factual, it is to the point, it must be simple, and your tone must be formal, or formal language you must use. It must be very clear, no ambiguity. Above and all, your notice must be able to answer these basic questions like what, where, when, who, whom, such things. If your notice is able to answer these questions, what, where, when, who, whom, sometime even why and how also, sometime even why and how also. So if your notice is able to answer these things, you have a perfect notice. Now, every notice has got a specific design. Normally, what should a notice contain? What should a notice contain? See, name and brief address. Okay. Name and brief address of issuing agency. Okay. Of issuing agency or issuing person, if you want. Like in your school, as a school people leader, you may issue a notice. As the head of the institution, principal may issue the notice. As a examination in charge, one of your teachers may issue the notice. So who issues the notice is name, and his brief address is also required. Then, of course, the most important thing, date of issuing notice. Date of issuing notice. After this, the title. The title is notice itself. N-O-T-I-C-E. This must be invariably written notice. Sometime, not always, the subject, or we can call it as headline. This subject is required, but it's not always. Let me make it very clear. It is optional. It is optional. It's not always necessary based on the gravity of the content. Next comes what we call it as content, or what we call it as normally body of the notice. Okay. Body of notice. Then the subscription. Subscription. Okay. Like a letter. Here also you can have subscriptional salutation like yours faithfully, yours sincerely, and all those things. Here, of course, name and signature of the issuing authority. Normally, a notice should contain name and brief address of issuing agency or issuing authority or issuing individual, date of issue and this title notice, then subject, there's a headline sometime. It's not always necessary, it is optional. Then content, this is the most important thing, or body of the notice, then subscription. Then comes other areas we'll see. Other areas like normally notice is impersonal. Normally notice is impersonal. See, when it comes to official notice, it must be impersonal. But when it comes to informal notice, like a personal notice, you can personalize it. So normally it is passive voice is used. Normally passive voice is used. And it must be presented in a box. See, you must draw a box after writing the notice. Word limit is normally 40 to 50. It depends upon the content. It's not always on the examination point of view. It depends on. So information must be clear. Okay. Then it should not lead to any ambiguity. We already discussed. It must be very catchy. It must be very catchy. It must be very appealing. Then, as far as possible, you can use bold letters. You can use catchy slogans, very striking words and phrases. And avoid, since we have already said impersonal, avoid personal pronouns. Avoid personal pronouns like I, me, you, and all those things. So, personal pronouns. Of course, here you must be very clear. This is for official. For personal and informal, you can use it. And it must be grammatically accurate. Now, let us see other areas of notice. How many types of notices are there? So, we have personal notice. Personal notices. Okay. Then we have semi-official notices. Then we have official notices. Now, what is this semi-official and personal? See, personal notice sometime, maybe you are traveling by a train or by bus or flight, you might have lost something or lost somebody. Maybe a valuable suitcase containing very important document. You may have to put up a notice somewhere. So then you don't have any official authority there. So you have to appeal to the people. You have to request. So there personalizing is most important. Then semi-official notice. What is the semi-official? See, in an organization, There will be so many sub-organization. The power is decentralized. The power is decentralized. The power is delegated. For example, in a school, there are so many clubs, maybe literary club, maybe magazine club, health club, sports club. You may be the secretary, you may be the organizer, you may be the convener, you may be the president or something. So head of the institution has delegated the power, not the full powers. It is confined only to that subject, that area. So you are an authorized official, but not a complete official who hold the full power. In such cases, that's a semi-official. Then official notices. For example, a principal in a school issues a notice, maybe to pay the fee or some such things. So in such cases, you have this. Now, we'll see the formats of all the three: personal, semi-official, and official notices. For example, a format of a personal notice, a format of personal notice, personal notice. What should it contain? Okay, as usual, from address, from address, then date, then the title, that is notice. Okay, then the subject. I told you once, this is, I'm repeating for your sake. This is once again optional. If necessary, if it is so important, then you have to do it. Then of course, the content. Then see here in content, particularly personal notices, when you go for lost and found notices, in content, announcing an incentive is very important. For example, you have lost a watch in your class. That watch is so important for you, it is so significant for you because it is presented by someone so important for you. So in that case, better you announce an incentive. Incentive, not that you are giving lakhs of prizes, maybe a chocolate, maybe ice cream, maybe a good party in your school canteen, such thing. So announcing incentive in lost and found cases is important. And of course, it must answer when, what, where, such things. Okay. See, this is once again the personal notice. Personal notice. Here, I am going to show you one of the notices here. You can see how it is. You can watch this slide. I'm going to show you this slide. See, from address on left top corner, okay? Then opposite of right top corner, you have address. Then the title notice. Content. Content is, sorry, like subject, just lost. Instead of saying lost, unfound, you have said lost, lost, lost with an exclamatory action. And this is salutation because you have to appeal. So you have said that, dear brothers and sisters. See, general notice should not have personal pronouns, but since it's a personal notice, you can. See, I'll read it out for your sake. I have lost my gold-colored Titan Exacta watch with the date and day, round dial, brown leather strap is lost on 9th May 2020 in and around school main playground between 4 and 5 p.m. near the basketball court. See here, how you describe the lost object is very important. See, I have lost my gold colored Titan brand name, Exacta model name. And what are the specialities of that watch? It has got a date and day. And shape of the watch you have given round dial. And color of the strap brown. Whether it's a chain or strap, you have given leather strap. And approximate time and a date. And then around the school main playground. See, where you have lost also that you have given. Okay, means description of an object is so important. And preferably, if you remember, you give where you might have lost approximate time of losing the object. Okay. Now, you say why you need that watch so important. Because watch sometime what happens, it may start from 50 rupees to 50,000 and 5 lakhs also. Whether it is 50 rupees or 50,000, something is very important for us. That's why you say why. So you explain it. It is very precious for me as it was a gift from my mother on my graduation day. So gift from mother is very precious. So you don't want to lose it easily. So now you are declaring incentive. Founder may please hand over the watch either to principal or it may be handed over to me personally during the recess. See, either it is handed over to the principal or personally it can be handed over to you. But you have mentioned the time during recess, not that during class time you come and disturb. A suitable reward and appreciation would be given to the mention it, whether ice cream or a chocolate or a party or a coffee or something. It is implicit. A suitable reward based on the value that you have for the watch and the face value of the watch or the material value of the watch. Then, with regards or with best wishes or thanking you, such things you can use it like how we use it in the letters. Then yours fraternally or yours friendly, yours sincerely, all these things you can use it. Then signature. Then write your name within the bracket, preferably in capital letters. See, on the top you have written from address. From address need not necessarily be the address of the person who has lost the thing. Maybe on behalf of you, your friend might have issued that notice. That's why after the subscription, signature and name of the issuing agency or the issuing authority is very, very important. So this is one. Now let us see another one. Another notice also we will see. Now, see here. This is also public notice issued by an individual. See, we see Dr. Samhita Gupta, door number 13, bar 12-6, second class, Vasavi Nilaya, KR Nagar, Koppal, Karnataka, and date of issue is 10th March 2000. This is also something notice, lost and found only. Dear commuters, you are addressing the passengers because you are addressing to those people only. Here also last thing, a suitcase is lost, you see here. First you describe the suitcase. A green VIP Alpha Royal 17-inch suitcase with number lock covered with the bottle green cover is lost on 8th March 2020 between Anantapur and Guntakal around 11:30 p.m. while traveling from Koppal to Bangalore by Hampi Express. See, what are the things that you have described? You have lost a suitcase. So you have described the color of the suitcase. What is the company? VIP. What is the brand? Like Alpha Royal. What is the size? 17 inches suitcase. What kind of lock it has got? Number lock. And it is covered with bottle green suitcase cover. When it is lost? 8th March 2020. Then where approximately between Anantapur and Guntakal? What is the approximate time, not the exact? If you know the exact time, then why do you lose it? Isn't it? So approximate time. While traveling from Koppal to Bangalore by Hampi Express. So the train name also you have given here. It contains important documents pertaining to my career and life. Founder may kindly hand over the suitcase to any of the station masters of railway stations between Koppal and Bangalore. See, whom to hand over you have specified. Station masters of these railway stations between Koppal and Bangalore or any of the police stations. If you could kindly call me, you have given your phone number 9482845591. I would personally come and collect with the thanks. A suitable reward will be given with a great gratitude. Here also with regards, yours sincerely, signature and name in capital. So from address, date, the title notice, the subject. Last, that subject you need not mention it. And salutation, then description of the suitcase and such thing. So these two examples we have seen. So what are the major things that we have? The detailed description of the last object or last thing. Then approximate time, date and place where you have lost. Then whom to hand over, when to hand over. Then of course you should say the incentive. This is not compulsory. Announcing incentive is not compulsory. It is only just encouraging the people to come and give all the way. Then of course, a greeting with regards or thanking you or anything. Then subscription, yours sincerely or yours fraternally, yours faithfully, yours lovingly, all those things you can use it depending upon the situation. Then signature, the name in capital letter. So this is the personal notice. Now, the most important is the semi-official notice. In most of the examination, you come across such things. So what is this semi-official notice? Normally, semi-official, I said you are not complete official appointed by a government, but it is only you enjoy the delegated power given by either your principal or vice principal or something like that. Normally, a recognized association, within an organization. Like for example, you have a school. That's a big organization. So within that organization, a recognized associations are there like so many clubs. Like in a school or a college, there are so many associations. Literary association, cultural association, students association, so many things. And when they issue a notice, it is not purely official. See, I'm stressing it upon, that's why it is called a semi-official. It's not purely official notice. They are recognized by the main organization working under them. So you are working under the same banner. That's why it is semi-official notice. So now we'll go for the format of semi-official notice. So what is the format? Here also almost the same, The first here is name and brief address. Name and brief address of the main organization. The main organization, okay. Then only name, address is not required. Only name of sub-organization. Name of sub-organization like a sports club, literary club, a cultural club or something. Then of course the title notice here also same thing. Then the subject. So subject you need not mention it as a subject, simply you can write it. Then you have a salutation. Then you have a salutation. Then you have content. Then after the content, subscription. Then signature. Then either name or you can write designation. See, what is the difference between formal and semi-official? The only difference here is you have name of the sub-organization. You are working under one main organization and your association or your club or your association is one of the sub-organization working under the main organization. That's why you should have both. Then other things are same. Notice you have subject, salutation, you have content, you have subscription and signature and designation. You can go one more step also. You can write your name in capital letters as well as your designation also. Here, see, language again, whenever, whatever the notice you take, whatever the notice, official, semi-official, personal, language must be simple. Language must be clear and simple, okay? Then, very formal tone you should have. Formal tone you should have or formal language you should have, or to be precise, shall we say, you should have a sort of official tone only there. And should not personalize. Should not personalize. Okay, see, the previous notice we have seen personal notice, you have clearly personalized, you have used a personal pronoun. So here you should not do it. Here you should not do it. So this is the only alternative you have is use of passive voice. Use of passive voice. Okay. Then language must not have any ambiguity, or the content that you should give is also free from ambiguity. And of course, all the questions like what, where, when. See, this is, I am repeatedly using this why, who, whom, and all those things. Unless you are able to answer these things, your notice has no meaning. What is the event you are organizing? Where are you organizing? When are you organizing? Why are you organizing? Who are the people involved, or who is the center of attraction there, to whom it is concerned? These are the things. So this is the characteristics of semi-official notice. Language must be simple and clear. You should have a formal tone or very official tone and should not personalize it. So the only alternative not to personalize is use passive voice. What, where, when, why, whom, these things we can use it. Now, we'll go for a specimen here. Okay. Now, you see here, one of the important notices. I think it will be displayed now, you see. Sharada Vidya Mandir, VV Puram, Bangalore 1. This is the main organization. Sharada Vidya Mandir, VV Puram, Bangalore 1. This is the main organization. What is sub-organization? Sports club. And the title, notice, is written. And the subject, inter-house chess competition. Inter-house chess competition. And of course, you have date at the top. Here you have a salutation, dear friends, dear classmates, or such appropriate salutation you should use it. Here you see here, it is totally impersonalized. We have not started in our school, we are conducting inter-house chess competition, I am inviting, no, that you should not use it. See here, an inter-house chess competition is going to be organized on league basis between 20th January 2020 and 25th January 2020 in connection with school annual day celebration. In one lengthy sentence, how much of information you have given? See, it is inter-house competition. What is the competition? Chess competition. For how many days it would run? 20th to 25th. What is the method you are using? It is on league basis. Why you are conducting? In connection with the school annual day celebration. Okay. Now further, those who are interested to participate can register their names with the undersigned through Housemaster on or before 18 January 2020 without fail. So, where to register or with whom to register? What is the deadline for registration? You have given here. See, those who are interested to participate can register their names with the undersigned. Who is the undersigned? What do you mean by that undersigned? Who has signed below? Who is that? That is Jalpita Gupta, Sports Secretary, with whom you have to register. And you have given a deadline. What is the deadline? What is the last date for registering? 18 January 2020. Now, if there are any conditions, you have mentioned, from each house only 2 participants are allowed. From each house only 2 participants are allowed. That's a passive structure we have used. And rupees 10,000 cash prize for the winner. No entry fee. So you have given terms and conditions. That is only 2 people can participate. And you have announced the cash prize. That's a great encouragement. And other restriction only 2 and no entry fee. Wishing you good luck. See, in the previous one, what did we say? With regards. Here you are a secretary. You want more number of people and you want to encourage. So we have said wishing you good luck, all the best, such things. Then yours sincerely, then signature, then your name in capital letters. That is, you have written Jalpita Gupta, and then your designation, Sports Secretary. So this is the layout, and this is one of the specimens. Now, this is semi-official. So this need not necessarily be competitions only. You are conducting a tour. Yes, you can issue a notice where you are going, when you are going, what is the amount, what are the documents you require. You are organizing a blood donation camp, when, where, who inaugurates and such things. So there are so many issues where within an organization, several clubs and several associations work with the main organization. So semi-official is first, once again format we'll see. First, name and brief address of the main organization or parent organization, that is Sharada Vidya Mandir, Vivupuram, Bangalore 1. Then the name only, no address is required because same address continues. That is the name of the sub-organization, that is sports club, then notice, then the subject, the salutation, content, greeting, then subscription. Now let us go for formal or official notice. That is once again very important. Here also in official notices, there are 2 types. Executive notices are also there. Anyway, that we will not touch now. Official notice, it's a purely official notice, the format. Here, brief name of the organization and of the officer involved or issuing agency, issuing authority. His name also can be written. So name and brief address, okay, of the organization, then heading, that is notice. This is simple. See, I'm writing this for your sake so that you should not miss it. Then the subject. This is, I'm repeatedly telling, this is optional. Depends upon the gravity of the content or the importance of the content. Then here you should notice very important change between semi-official and official. In subscription, you need not have to say yours faithfully, yours sincerely, all those things. Can you tell me why? A higher authority, a principal, is issuing a notice. He can wish you, he can bless you, but he need not have to be always saying this faithfully, sincerely, and all those things. So, in subscription, only signature of issuing authority, then name, preferably in capital letters, within the bracket, then designation you can write. See here, what you should notice here is, for official notice, on top, if you have written individual officer's name, here there is no need to mention the name because already it is written your principal's name. If it is not mentioned, only organization's name is written, then you have to write the name as well as the designation. Sometime it may so happens, your principal or any officer, your collector or your deputy commissioner may not have time. He may once again delegate the past to someone else. So when he does so, what you have to do here, signature of the delegated officer, but on the bottom you should write on behalf of. Then you can write designation on behalf of the principal or something. Now we'll see here once more a slide. Now we'll see so that you can clearly understand. Okay, see this here. We have a notice here. That is Vasavi Vidyaniketan registered. This is one of the private schools might be. Just we have taken a title. Shri Vasavi Vidyaniketan registered. Address, 2nd Cross, SS Puram, Tumkur. Plus some address, some place, and date 10th February 2020. Then the title, notice. Payment of examination fees is the subject. For any private school, collecting examination fees is very, very important. So instead of simply writing, he has mentioned the subject. I told you that subject is optional. Subject is optional. It depends upon the gravity of the subject. It depends upon the seriousness of the content that you are going to present. It depends upon the significance of the content that you are going to present. That's why here it is required. So payment of fee examination. So here you see, here also it is not personalized. In our school, we are conducting examination, please you come and pay fee, nothing like that. All the students / parents are hereby informed to pay examination fee on or before 20th February 2020 in the account section and submit the fee receipt to the examination in charge for further processing. You have given what is the information? Examination fee to be paid. This notice is both for students and parents as well. What is the deadline given? 20th February 2020. Where examination fee must be paid in account section. What is the follow-up action? The fee receipt must be submitted in the examination department. What for? For further processing. Those who fail to pay fee in stipulated time, hall ticket will not be issued by the examination board. It is not the school. The examination board will not issue the hall ticket. School will not be responsible for obtaining hall ticket. So if you fail to pay the fee and submit your receipt in the examination department for processing, and you will be completely responsible, school will not be responsible. So it's an alert. The same may be obtained from the examination board as per the procedure. So he has alerted, he has warned, if you do not pay in time, what is the consequences that you are going to face. And see, he's a principal. That's why he has wished you with the best wishes. What for best wishes? Because you are going to appear for examination. Then signature. What is missing here? What is missing here is like a subscription. subscriptional salutation, what we call it, that's yours faithfully, yours sincerely, that is missing. Signature, name within the brackets, preferably in capital letters, and the designation principle. Why designation principle is required here? Because on the top, neither we have mentioned the name of the issuing authority, that is the principal's name and designation. That's why here, there. See, like I told you, executive notices, like a deputy commissioner, superintendent of police, tahsildar, such people, when they issue notices, on the top itself, their names are written, their names and designation. That's why you need not have to mention at the bottom. But still at the school level, at the principal level, an important office level, this is more than sufficient. So once again, I am repeating here, what are the things that are required? You need to mention the name of the main organization with a brief address, then date, then the title notice, then the subject, the content, then wishes or greetings, then subscription is not required here, signature, name within the brackets. If it is a delegated, for example, some teacher is asked to do on behalf of it, teacher can do it, because sometimes vice principal also reads such things. So teacher can. But if it's very senior, it depends upon, you see, it's not, there is no hard and fast rule. So now, see here, when a head of institution is issuing the notice, when instructions are passed through a notice, there is no need of salutation. See, the salutation is missing here. That's another important thing you should notice it. When a head of the institution or higher ups, when they issue notice to the lower cadres, there is no need of salutation. We can avoid a subscription also. When there is no salutation, subscription is also can be avoided. Only signature, name and designation can be mentioned. And of course, it depends upon the situation, who issues the notice and to whom notice is issued. Now we'll quickly go to other area. Sir, shall we take a break?
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े, वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने। हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने। परीक्षाओं परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बहुत कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने
Yes, sir, we are live.
Okay. So welcome back once again. Anyway, before going to the letters, we answer few questions. A question is there, if there is no address. I think that question doesn't exist at all, because you know your address. If it is a personal notice, you know where are you from, where do you live, so you can write that. And when it comes to semi-official and official, since an organization exists, there's no question of not having address. Okay. Question from Avantika Bharadwaj. She has asked the question, as notice can be used for appealing, then why do we need letters? A good question maybe. When we are using notices for appealing, then why do we need letters? Very simple. Letters are personalized, appealing to an individual, maybe a particular officer. Whereas notice is concerned, you are appealing to masses. You are appealing to masses. For example, you have lost a suitcase, that's what I showed. You display this notice in a railway station, near a police station, in a bus stand, in public places. So you can't keep writing letters to everyone, isn't it? So notice to appeal for the masses, the large number of people. Letters are to appeal to the concerned. Okay, now let us quickly go to letter writing. Okay. Letter writing is very important area. Here we'll see the types of letters. Types of letters. What are the types of letters that we have? See, normally you can see formal letters and informal letters. Anyway, to begin with, we'll go for informal letters only. Informal letters, there are only one. Personal letters, we call it. You may write to parents, you may write to friends, you may write to your cousin, kith and kin, or even sometime you may write a letter to your favorite teacher also. Discussing your problems, your emotions, your attachment and all those things. All those things come under informal letters. Then in formal letters, we have official letters, business letters, basically official letters and business letters. And in business letters, again we can say letters of inquiry. You wanted to know the rate of some particular commodity, or you wanted to purchase some 100-inch big TV, so you wanted to write a letter to Sony company, how much, what is the discount that you are giving. That is letters of inquiry. And here in letters of inquiry, you see that you wanted to get a seat in one of the colleges. So you want to write to the principal or director of that institution, inquiring what is the fee structure, whether hostel facility is available or such thing. Letter of seeking information. Maybe you want to go for a tour. So you write to one of the guides or the tourist department seeking information. What are the things available to see? What is the scope for spending these many days and such things. And letters of placing and cancelling the orders. Like these days, that's quite common. Of course, we are doing it through online, just one sentence. But if you have to write a formal letter, what are the things that required? Particularly, it happens in your schools. Many of you may be knowing it. You want to establish a lab, so big list of lab equipments are there. You want to establish, equip your sports department, so list of items. Sometime what happens, by out of sight, you might have ordered something, but you don't require that. So you want to cancel that order. And now comes in official, it is as well as it's a personal also, but we have classified into formal letters. That's why neither we call it as official or this thing, we just call it as a formal. A job application is very important thing. Job application is important, and letter to editor. See, in informal, we have personal letters of all kinds to all people. And in formal, we have official, business, letters of inquiry, letter of seeking information, letters placing orders and cancelling, job application, letters to editors, and all those things. Now, we'll go for personal letter formats. Personal letter writing. Personal letter writing. See, it is basically sender's address. Sender's address is required. Here, sender's address without name is always better. Without name. That too, it must be very brief. Can you tell me why without name? Because at the subscription, again, you are writing your name, your place, everything. That's why to avoid number of words, you are writing sender's address, then date you are writing, then receiver's address. Receiver's address, that is to address you are writing just below. Then comes salutation. Salutation. Then content, or what we call it as a body of the letter. Then complimentary closure, or subscriptional salutation, you can call it. So this is a format for personal letters: sender's address, date, receiver's address, salutation, content, complimentary closure. Now, the formats have all the things: personal letter, official letter, business letter, inquiry letter, letter to editor. All the things have become common with a marginal difference. That's what we are going to discuss here. It is. See here, in personal letters, you don't have to mention the subject and reference. Other than that, all other things you have these things. Now, this informal letters, few things we have to take care of it. For example, salutation. Salutation is very important. How you address the person, that matters much. Maybe already you have learned these things. For example, you write simply dear friend, okay? But sometime you write my dear friend. Dear friend and my dear friend. What is the difference? Here, exactly what we call it as appealing. He is not simply friend, my dear friend. You have that possessive nature there. So here, simply if you say my dear friend, it's like it is a very normal relationship you maintain with one of your friends. Whereas when you write my dear friend, you are showing the intense relationship. Now, the change you see here, dear friend Ramu or Raju or Ravi, whatever it is. See, you are using dear friend Ramu, you have used the name. So here, more intensity is there in your friendship. More intensity. Now, there's one more degree is there. My dear friend Ramu, my dear friend Ramu, what difference? See, 4 degrees you have here. Simply dear friend, simply dear friend. That's a normal relationship, friendship you maintain with, like a hi-bye friendship that might be. My dear friend, you have used that possessive pronoun, my dear friend. So intensity of your friendship is 1 degree higher. Then dear friend Ramu, the intensity of your friendship is enhanced further. Now, my dear friend Ramu, there are 4 words you have used. So your friendship is most intense. So this is in practice normally. This is in practice normally. So how you use to whom you are writing, this is the same thing, need not necessarily be friend. Dear father, my dear father. But my dear father name you need not have to use there. So it depends, brother, you have 2, 3, 4 brothers. So whom you are addressing name you can mention. So by adding these possessive pronouns, you are changing the degree of your relationship with your friend. So this is very informal, but the way you have appealed, the kind of words that you use, important. Now you see here, we use after salutation, this dear friend, my dear friend, my dear friend Ram, and such things. We see some of the introductory part traditionally we used. What are those introductory parts? For example, things like this. I am doing well. Hope you are also doing well there. This is need not necessarily the same words must be used. But this is how for primary class children, initially when you are in 6th, 7th stage, these idiomatic expressions or these phrases are taught. I am doing well. Hope you are also doing well there. Next, I am in pink of my health. I expect you to be enjoying the same. I am in pink of my health. I expect you to be enjoying the same. Or you can go for with the grace of God, I hope everything and everyone is fine at your end. That's one. Or I am fine and expect the same thing from you likewise. So,
Some
this
more
is,
questions are sent to you, sir.
yes sir, please sir.
Okay, okay.
Sir, question sir?
Yes, sir. Questions are on your phone.
Okay sir. I'll be answering this question sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, these are the questions that we have. Quickly, we'll go through. What do you mean by a notice? Notice is an appeal, a request, a piece of information passed to general masses concerned. Okay? In groups or in masses, if you have to communicate to somebody, to the entire school or to the public, notice is issued. What are the main tips which can be used for notice writing? The main tips, that's what I repeatedly said that uh, the, the issuing authorities name and brief address, date, title notice, then subject if it is required, then salutation, content, then subscriptional salutation, something like that. What are the different types of notices? Yes, good question. That's what we see. Personal notices, semi-official notices, official notices. In official notices, further you have like executive notices that at this stage you need not worry about that. What is a legal notice? Okay, it's a wonderful question. It doesn't come under our purview, but still, legal notice is a notice issued by a court or notice issued by an advocate to somebody seeking explanation. There's a legal notice. It is out of our syllabus right now. We need not have to break our head for now. Anyway, for your information, legal notice is a notice served to someone seeking some explanation either by a court or on behalf of the client, advocate issues a notice. Then define public notice. Good. Define a public notice. Notices issued by government to the public. For example, now COVID-19. Lot of public notices are displayed. Everybody is concerned. So in some public places they are displayed. Next, what do you understand by letter writing? That's what we are going to deal with. Now we'll see. Name some tips for good letter writing. What are the main things which make it a challenging task? How many types of letters are there? What are the difference between formal and informal letter? Yes, that's what we are going to discuss now. Now, for personal letter writing, we said that formal and informal, what are the groups of letters, and formal we have seen. So formal letters or personal letters, we'll see few things. See, personal letters, address, sender's address, then date, then address of receiver, then salutation, then content, then subscription, subscriptional salutation. Okay, these are the things. See, address of the sender, date, address of the receiver, salutation, content, and subscription. These things we have. Then when it comes to formal letters, the same thing, same thing. See, what are the changes that we have here? See, after salutation, here we have subject. We have subject. Then we have a reference. In personal letters, in none of the personal letters you use this, and you need not use this and should not also. So subject and reference. What is this reference? On what basis you are writing this letter? What reference that you have? Have you seen an advertisement, or have you come across some pamphlet or a handbill or some hoardings that you have seen? Based on that. Then subject and reference, then of course you have a content or a body of the letter. Then you have complementary closure. So this is official letter format or personal. Now we'll quickly, for a short of time, we will quickly go to other things. Now you see one of the letters that we have written to the editor. See, when you write a letter to editor, there are so many issues. There are so many issues that you are dealing with the editor. Letter to editor when you deal with, see, as usual, like a from address you write, then you write a date, okay, then you write a to address. Now you see here, you need not necessarily mention this from and to. On top, you write sender's address, receiver's address, in between the date. Now comes here the controversy. Whether you have salutation first or you have subject first. Okay, can somebody think of it? See, in most of your guide books you come across first subject, then salutation. But to think normally, whenever we go to an office to appeal to somebody or to present your grievance, first we salute. We address the person, then we implore, we plead, we say whatever the problem is there, or we pass on the content. So it is left to you now. Of course, you can think that you have an option here. You have an option here. Either you can mention subject first, or you can mention salutation first. So both are accepted in the examination. Then reference is there. Then reference. When you're mentioning a reference, only when you are writing this letter for the second time, or when you are replying, you have to use a reference. Or when you are particularly mentioning some topic, some issue, some current issue, over which you want to convey something to the editor, then you need a reference. Of course, for all the appointment letters, we need this reference. Now, let us see these things. Reference is there, subject is there. But when you speak to editorial letters, there are some formalities. There are some formalities, particularly editorial letters when you speak. See, the first thing you have to mention, the purpose of writing a letter. Why you are writing, whether you want to appeal, whether you want to convey, whether you want to share, what is the purpose? Then you should make a request. You should make a request to the editor to publish the letter. That is introductory paragraph. Then of course, content you write. See, the purpose and your request, these two areas will not be published or will not be printed in the newspaper. The content. Content, after clearly saying the content, you have to give a declaration. You have to give a declaration. What is the declaration that you have to give? To what effect a declaration that you have to give? For example, it's a controversial issue. It's a burning topic. Anything that you speak, that becomes an issue. These days, the newspapers do not take that responsibility. So you should give a declaration to such an effect that, you will be completely responsible for the further consequences that may arise due to the publication of the letter. So once you take this responsibility, once you give this declaration, then probably your letter may be published if it is relevant. See, apart from writing from, address, date, to, salutation, subject, reference and all these things, the purpose of your letter. Why? What do you want to achieve by writing that letter? You want to appeal to the masses? Or you want to make a request to the masses? Or you want to just sensitize the masses? Or come out with your opinions, you want to give some suggestion to the government? That. Then content. Then declaration. I told you, I am repeating it once again. You have to give a declaration to the effect that they are your personal opinions. You are not pressurized by anybody. And any consequences that may arise due to the publication of this letter, you will be completely responsible and press will not be responsible. So when you write this, as usual, either with regards or thanking you, then yours faithfully or yours sincerely. These days, we avoid writing yours faithfully. Recently, Supreme Court has given an order, issued an order saying that faithfully is something feudalistic. We need not have to use it. Maybe that's right. So better we go for yours sincerely. So yours sincerely, then signature and name in capital letters. So this is about the editorial, letters to editor. Now let us go quickly to other part of it. Okay, now we'll go for a job application. A job application. Just we'll see a job application, what things are required. So in job application, almost everything is same. See, you have from address, that is sender's address. You have then date. Then you have receiver's address, to whom you are writing. Or you can say the to address. Then salutation. Then subject. Then reference. Okay, now see here, for job application, subject and reference are very important. Subject must be very brief. It must be simple, not more than 4 to 5 words. So, application for the post of a clerk or a teacher, whatever it is. Very simple, hardly 3-4 words. Application for the post of a teacher, application for the post of a clerk, application for the post of accounts officer, something like that. The reference, for all job application, reference is must. On what basis you are applying or you are sending your letter? So you can normally say your advertisement in Times of India dated 20th April 2020, something like that. Means in which newspaper you have seen, date of that newspaper you have to mention, or an announcement in a radio or announcement in a television or some such thing. Then comes content. Content here for job application is very important. What are the things that you require to write in a content? See, as self-introduction. In self-introduction, what are the things that you are going to have it here? So, name, preferably gender, father's name, father, then date of birth, then qualification, then education details if you have. Along with the qualification, you can speak about all the from 10th standard, 12th standard, graduation, post-graduation, all those things. So education details, when I said that, which university, where you have studied, when you have passed, what is the percentage that you have scored, all those things you can say. Then, need of a job. This is of course very traditional. Now it's not necessary. See, this is also optional. This is also optional. You need not have to mention, but if you mention this better, then give some assurance. If at all, if you are selected, how you are going to be benefited and how you are going to serve the organization, how you are going to help the organization in improving these things. Apart from that, of course, as usual, everything. Sometime you see here, this will be just, you will be writing all these details in a running matter. I am such and such fellow, I have these qualifications, I have passed from this university, I have obtained, this is the percentage. Since I am the only member of earning of this many family members, I need this job and I will be able to serve you better for this and all those things. Sometimes these details you may have to write in a form of a resume. But in examination, question would be specifically asked whether you need to write resume or simply write the whole content in a running matter. But if at all resume is asked, a resume can be very lengthy, it can be very short also. So when you write resume, few things you must remember. So these are the things that you have to have. One, name. Okay. Then gender. Okay. Then date of birth. Then father's name. Father name. Then address for communication. Normally in old style, address for communication and the permanent address both would be there. But now for examination point of view, address for communication is more than sufficient. Today, even to that extent, if you come, just email ID or mobile number. Then here you have to draw a small table, that is educational qualification, educational qualifications. What is this educational qualification? What are the things? A small table you have to draw, that is serial number, name of the course, year of passing, then name of university or college, then score, such things. So serial number, name of the course, year of passing, name of the university or college, and the score that you have obtained, and remarks. Remarks. See here, even one more column can be introduced here. What is that? The subjects offered. What are the subjects that you have learned? So here in like a serial number, you write one, maybe name of the course is SSLC as it is called in Karnataka. Year of passing may be like 1995, maybe name of university or college. So for 10th class, you will not have university. So institution name. So these things you are going to write it and how much you have scored. After this, see, this is the 8th point. Then the next stage, by chance, you're already in job. So in that case, as an 8th point, work experience. So here also, in work experience also, you can show again a column. So serial number, post held, department, nature of work, from and to, and scale of pay. So serial number, post held, department, nature of work, from which period to which period, and scale of pay you can mention. So one or two you can mention. And here most important thing is 9th one. You have to give references. You have to give references. What reference you give? What is the reference here? At the top when you write the subject, that is a reference. That reference is from which area you got this information or on what basis you are writing letter. This reference is who is going to recommend your case. So here in reference, one academician. So either your professor or your principal or your teacher who can say few good words about you, who can recommend your case, that. Another is your employer, he can, or any public representative. So your employer also can give you references. And 10th important point is the expected salary. Expected salary. So these are the 10 areas which are important. Of course, I told you that resume can be as lengthy as it can be, and for the examination point of view, as short and as brief you can make it. But these 10 points are very, very essential. Once again, I am repeating: name of the candidate, gender, date of birth, father's name, address for communication, if possible give email address and phone number. Then comes educational qualification. Then you have if at all work experience that you give. Then a reference, one academician and one employer or public representative. Then the expected salary. If you want to increase one more point, or if you have time, then in that case, other any special interests or your hobbies or your achievements, if you have got some awards or something, that's mentioned. So this is about letter for a job or job applications. So just quickly we will have a brief review of what we have learned. See, letters are personal letters and official letters, or to be precise, informal letters and formal letters. Formal letters are job application, business letter, editor's letter to editor, and all inquiry letters. Personal letters are letter to your parent, father, mother, teacher, and all those things. As for the format is concerned, everything is same. Top you write from address to address, date, salutation. But for formal letters, you have a subject and reference depending upon the content that you have. But in informal letters, you don't have these things. So now we'll take up questions if you have any. Sir, do we have any questions, sir?
No, sir, no more questions, sir.
Okay. So some
If you have, you can check on your mobile, sir.
Yes, sir. What are the main things which make letter writing a challenging task? Letter writing is always an enjoyable task. It is never a challenging task. You should know what you have to present. You should know to what degree of the officer, what level of the officer you are talking to, or you are appealing or requesting, or you are saying. Then, if you have the command over the language, letter writing is just an enjoyable task. Letter writing is never a challenging task. The formalities are concerned, of course, they are very simple. These days, that's made very simple. Informal and formal, both the letters, we have same things. What are the difference between formal and informal letters? That's what we discussed. As per the layout is concerned, not much difference. It's the same, except for the tone of voice that you have to do it, then subject and reference. In informal letters, we don't have subject and reference. In formal letters, you have. How many types of letters are there? Of course, we discussed formal and informal letters. Then with this, hope notices and letters are discussed thoroughly. This is a big ocean. As you go on writing it, as you go on reading more and more different kinds of letters, letter writing and notice writing becomes the easiest things you can enjoy. The more you communicate, you become more efficient and effective communicator. With this is Prahaladiyam, PGT English, NVS Center of Excellence, Bangalore, signing off. Thank you.